how to pass IELTS at one sitting. It's a free class and it holds every Saturday for 15 to 30 minutes, basically. So I'm going to get the link copied. I'll get the link copied so that you can also post that to friends. And after this class, I will let you know how you can, you know, progress individually depending on your perspective of readiness. So please, if you are on this page, please kindly help me to copy the the links I copied. Let me copy it and paste it on the um on the page. Let me copy and repaste on the page. If you're on the I want to pass it at one sitting page, please help me copy and paste on the fresh page. And if you are in a place where there is a bit of noise, kindly think of muting your audio. Is that okay? Help me to mute your audio so that people can hear. I'm trying to see if I can do that posting by myself. So people can join us. Now, one thing I want to plead with us in this class is please let us be interactive. Usually I like that people should get their videos on. That is my own personal preference. I like for people to get their videos on. I like to see you when I'm chatting with you. I like to see you when I'm talking to you. It gives me a feel of presence, especially that you are not physically with me right here. So it makes me feel like I'm talking to you one on one. You understand what I mean? And it gives me life. It gives life to the class. So I like for us to turn on our videos. If you're in a place where you're not busy or you're not on the main road, you're not in a active area, you can turn on your videos. Number two, you can also get your friends to be involved in this class. All right. Um, how can you eat listening at the first time of trial? Now, I know that IELTS is made up of 4 modules: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. It is not a new story.
Coaching.
IELTS is usually a bit dicey for people. There are some people that once they sit with IELTS, they're able to pass at once, while some have a bit of struggle with it. But there are some tips you need to understand on how you can pass IELTS at one sitting. Let's start with the listening module right now. Now, listening is simple. On a norm, when I say on a norm, what that means is that listening can be regarded as easy to deal with, especially when you have um, engaged your ears with certain frame of content that are usually of the international English standard. What that means is if you have been watching a lot of videos or audios or listening to a lot of audios from the BBC sources, we have been listening to a lot of videos and audios from movies related to um, the countries outside of Nigeria, directed to maybe UK, US, and Australia. For example, my younger brother happens to be a lover of Hollywood movies. He has been a lover of these movies from childhood. So when he was to write IELTS, hearing them was so easy. So for people that have been acquainted with that perspective of lifestyle, listening will not pose the same challenge to them like people that don't like to watch movies or don't have the sources to watch movies or to listen to foreign news. Now, in the IELTS module, there are 4 contents that you will meet in the IT module. There are four contents you will meet. The first content is related to a social environment. Maybe someone that is going to the hotel, someone that wants to maybe go to a travel to a cinema, and then he's now talking to the hotel manager, or or maybe wants to take an adventure, a trip to a particular mountain, and he start talking to the manager of that mountain. So it's a social atmosphere. Now, for those of you that have watched movies, that kind of conversation is something that they'll be familiar with. Usually in the movies, you see people that want to go to a cinema, maybe they are taking it, they take a trip to maybe a tour. So that first aspect of IELTS module, for those who watch movie regularly, they will not have it to be difficult. All right. The second aspect is usually like giving a description of a map, maybe a map of a library or a map of a particular place. Usually, it's usually map like stuff. Now, if someone that is familiar with Geo World, or someone that watches a lot of things around family stuff on DSTV or GoTV or all this whatever. I mean, and likes to watch stuff to do with maps and all that, stuff to do with location and all that. You will have a little problem with the area because you'll be easily able to attach your mind to it. And someone that likes geography too might not have, because you know terminology that they might likely use. So, but we are not all the same when it comes to this kind of background. So our 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 level of competency or our level of skill in dealing with these areas is very limited compared to our base different backgrounds. The third aspect is usually academic area or academic perspective, research. A teacher talking to his students about how to submit their research. Are you following me now? Now, someone that is an academic may not have a problem with that area because you are familiar with the term that they use there. While the fourth part is just a monologue from a professor. Someone that watch news or that listens to TED.com, TED.com a lot, will not have a problem with that area. Now, because we are different in our perspective of um, knowledge or understanding about these areas, our exposure to those areas, it will be, there will be a different way of dealing with it. So, what do you need to do to upgrade yourself to the standard that will help you to connect success easily? The first thing that is very important about that is that try to change your environment. Let your environment reflect and prepare for exam. Your listening environment must change. If you're someone that used to watch Nollywood, your best movie is the movie that features Oshodi Okay, or your best movie is the movie that features all these movie stars, and you so much like it. You will need to change that environment to reflect that you want to what prepare for it, and that will mean that you first of all stop watching those kind of movies, and you start watching Hollywood movies. The one that like NTA Channel 10, or you like Silverbed, you have to change the environment. You start watching news from external sources. If your TV cannot provide it for you, your YouTube may provide it for you. So you have to exchange that environment with an environment that will reflect that you're preparing for heights. Your movies have to change, your news has to change, your music, even your music has to change, just to reflect that you're preparing for heights. All right. And then when you start doing that, you will need to be putting into consideration the need to jot down. Now, while you are doing this one, your focus actually is not anything strange. You want to see whether you are hearing what they are saying properly. You want to see whether what they are saying is making sense to you. There's no point struggling when you cannot hear. There's no point. So, best bet is reduce or limit the pressure you put on areas that you don't need. You don't need anything to do with Nigerian stuff. You need to let your environment reflect that you are preparing or focusing towards the UK or the things around the UK. When the environment has changed, it will elevate your listening capacity. Your listening will improve. your hearing will improve. And when your listening and your hearing improve, it will allow you to have a different perspective to the level of preparation that you are having before. Before you be afraid because you don't know what they are saying. Because the first trick to deal with listening module is that you must hear what they are saying. You must hear what they are saying. So if you're already able to hear what they are saying, you are in level one. If each time you hear them, you don't hear, I don't even know what they are saying. Your journey is still far. So that environment has to what? Change. That's the first thing. Okay. I will mention two today. And I will now go ahead to let you know the different arrangement I put in place for those who probably want further assistance or who are having emergencies. Maybe your exam is tomorrow or your exam is next week. How can I help you to pass within that 1 week? Because some people have time. They still have like maybe 3 months. So this is a platform that can help these people to have that kind of time. But if maybe you're actually looking out to write the exam, maybe and I'll share some testimonies of how people can pass within that frame of time I mentioned. The second thing is that you must have access to the kind of questions that IELTS presents before the exam date. Now, you see, you cannot go to a IELTS exam on the day of the exam to say, I've been hearing what they are saying, so let me now say what they have to say. No. You must have exposed yourself to the kind of questions that they will bring out in the exam at least 50 times. 50 times, at least. You must have access to those kind of questions. You must have answered them. You must have seen the pattern they ask their questions, and you must have been exposed to it at least 50 times. Now, IELTS is not a knowledge-based exam. Note this very carefully. You cannot pass IELTS because you know how to pass IELTS. You can pass IELTS because you have practiced how to pass. There is a difference between I know how to pass and I can have practiced the knowledge. So I can tell you now what I just told you today now, you already know it in your mind. Okay, I have to make the environment to be what? To be English based. I have to practice. And someone say, how can I pass? I can tell you now. What is it? I make the environment to be English based and then I start practicing. Have you practiced? But I've been very busy. So what is the end of the knowledge? So you may know what to do to pass without passing, because until you are able to apply the things that you need to do to pass, you have not started the readiness to pass. So you must apply it. And the application is that you must face with very high level concentration the questions that you must have exposure to the questions that are coming out. When you have exposure to the questions that are coming out, it helps you. Now, number three thing, I want to add this one just as a addition, but obviously next time we'll go on with that. There is strategy that is called listening. Reading before listening. Reading before listening. You cannot afford to pass IELTS by listening before reading. So when they give you the question, you must have gone through the question, underline the keywords before they start the conversation. If you start the conversation with them, to pick your answer will be very difficult. If you start the conversation with them, picking your answers will be very, very hard to do. So it's wisdom. Try not to wait for them. Rather go ahead of them. Try not to wait for them. Instead, go ahead of them. These are the things that help. Now there are many other stuffs, but this key. These ones I just mentioned, they are very key. And they will probably help you to achieve what you are looking for when it comes to success. All right. Now, having said what I just said now, um, I said I have a few platforms that can help to accelerate your preparation. All I said now, if you're doing it for the next 3 months, 2 months, 1 month, you'll be fine. You will do well in IELTS exam. And there are people that have that kind of time to really like practice for a number of days. However, I've had cases of people that want to write the exam maybe in a week time, in 2 weeks time, in a month's time, and You will not, the things you need to do to pass are going to be way beyond just the very normal foundation stuff. In that kind of case, I created some stratas that you can just link to. There's a particular class I run that is called personal evaluation class. This is a class where I check your work every day. It is depending on how quick you can. But this personal evaluation class is in two sides. The first side is I will be linking you with the videos I have done before that can help you to pass. You watch those videos that will tell you the tips you need to put into practice, as related to the you have to practice. When you watch those tips, you have very quick information about what you need to do, and then we now start evaluating you based on practices. So what I just use that your practice will be your base for will be what I will use to test whether you are ready for the exam or not. Once your practice is at the high level, you are ready. And so I will now detect areas where you are having issues with the practice, and then I will tell you what to do to correct those things. And then you go ahead and you sit for the exam and you pass. In the last 3 weeks, I've had, or 4 weeks, I've had cases of people come to me and say, I want to write the exam tomorrow. The latest happened yesterday. She's sitting for the exam today. No, 2 days ago. Sitting for exam today, and she started the class 2 days ago. So I can take you on that fast track. But the issue about fast track class is that I won't have time to be giving you videos, because you probably will not even be able to finish videos in those 3 days before the exam. So the fast track class deals basically with spotting your weakness on the spot, telling you how to deal with it, apply it, and then you go for the exam. So I think 2 months ago, one of my students that have previously passed referred a medical doctor who was waiting for the exam 5 times to me, and then told me that the person is writing the exam tomorrow and she must pass writing. So we enrolled for the class, 24 hours class, spotted the area of concern, gave her what to do, went for the exam. For the first time in her life of writing the exam, she had a 6.5 in writing. That was not even what she wanted. But because I already knew that she has learned the lesson within 24 hours, she remarked that writing. She now ended up having 7. That's so that was the first time ever that she was going to have 7. And then, of course, that was the first time ever that she passed the exams that she actually been craving for in the last maybe 3 or 4 years. And she's now passed the exam. So she's done with the exams now. That is for her. The latest case I had was 2 or 3 weeks ago. This person was writing IELTS General, I think 10 times. The relative who happens to be in UK let me understand that they don't have the time anymore. So they wanted this woman to write the exam, computer-based exam, and pass, because her time is lapsing. This is someone that already has COS, and the COS is almost getting expired after writing many times. So she had 4 days with me, 4 days. We went for the preparation, spoiled the area, and our problem was reading. So I took her up on that, went for the exam, and she passed. That's 11th attempt, which was the last chance. She's passed now. So, and of course, I have quite a number of examples. These are really striking examples. Okay. So I don't encourage people that are having that kind of exigency to go on with this long-term class. I rather encourage that you come for the short-term class, do get what you need. If you probably are maybe having a reason, of course, it is not always the best to rush at it, but if you are having a reasonable reason to want to write the exam within a very short time, don't need to waste the money. Get the needed information you need specific to the area of like I said before, I said we all have our different areas of strength and weakness. So I can spot your area of strength by our conversation. And once I can spot it, then we can deal with it easily. And once we're able to deal with it easily, you will pass the exam. It's as simple as that. There is no other faster about it. But I've mastered the capacity to do so because I've been training people for the last 3 to 4 years. So it's not something I'm just I'm going to be struggling to do, which is the reason why I encourage people to not to waste the money. Get the necessary knowledge, go for the exam, pass at one sitting, and then get it off your neck. Is that all right? So, if you know someone that has that's looking for that opportunity, or you know someone, or you are also in that shoe, all right, all you just need to do is just send a message to me individually. Let me know that this is what you want, this is how soon you want to write the exam, and this is the score you are looking for. All right, then I will let you know what to do. Of course, it's not free. Yeah, I'll let you know what to do, and then once it's sorted, you move, and then you come back with your testimony. Is that okay? So, do you have anybody with questions or concerns or anything? This is going to be posted. It's already on the YouTube, so people can go and review it again. Do you have anybody with questions, concerns, anything? You are bothered about something and you want it to be clarified? Please, can you raise it quickly? You have questions, you have concerns, please quickly feel free to raise that before we end the class. I think everybody is clearly they are clearly in understanding what I just said now. All right, so I'd like to appreciate everyone. Um, like I said, um, this is going to happen every weekend, really. So it's something that is free, and we just have a sharp check out on areas that are of concern, and then we deal with it ASAP. All right, thank you, and do have a wonderful Saturday, and of course a new week, good week ahead. Bye for now.